Yo, what's up, guys? Good morning. Happy Thursday. Today we're going to talk a little bit about pivoting, but also we're going to share a little story time here. And we're going to talk a little bit about pivoting and what that looks like and when we should consider it and all of that stuff, because there's a lot that goes into it. And I recently had a guest on the podcast, Jasmine Starr. Was an awesome interview. 843. If you have not listened to that episode yet, I would definitely encourage you to listen to that episode. Really, really good stuff. She's awesome, full of energy and an action taker. And she talks about the pivots. She also talks about challenges and struggles along the way. Also, she talked about a pretty big, I don't want to call it a huge failure, but to her it was. And she learned a ton from that, what she's not going to do in the future. And it really taught her so much. So I'm not going to give it away here. I want you to go listen to that episode 843. Do me a favor. Have you guys listened to that episode? Curious, just throwing it out there. Have you guys listened to Wednesday's episode 843? Let me know. So I'm going to go ahead and check out who's hanging out with us. Also wanted to let you guys know today is going to be a little bit shorter than normal. I'm going to be trying to get off here in about 15 minutes. As you know, all of you Take Action crew members, you guys know just yesterday I announced it that I'm going to be traveling. I'm going to be heading to Virginia to visit my daughter who's 7 months pregnant, and we're going to have a virtual baby shower this weekend. So I'm heading there, and we're going to do a little bit of traveling today, about 5 hours, and then we'll be there. So I gotta get the car packed, and that's what we're going to be doing here as soon as I get off with you guys. All right. So I did want to jump in here though. Keep this consistent. And I think Kate, you had said it, just sharing the consistency that I'm sharing with you helps inspire you and motivate you. And that's really what I also want to do. Like, yes, I'm busy right now. Yes, my family's getting ready. We're going to be heading out the door here. I did a little bit of packing last night. I got the car about half packed. As soon as I get done here, I'm going to jump off. We're going to get over there, start packing up, and then I'm going to be out the door hopefully by 11 o'clock. That's the goal. But here I am, right? I'm going to give you guys 15, 20 minutes, and we're going to dig in here. Tomorrow is going to be our Friday jam session. I'm going to be there. I'm just going to be in a new location. I'm going to be at my daughter's, and I don't know where I'm going to be broadcasting it, in her house, on her porch, wherever, but I'll be here. I'll be here. So if you guys want to hang out, then be here as well. 10 a.m. Eastern time. Make sure you tell your friends, your family, whoever else would be interested in hanging out with us. So what do we got here? We got Salama in the house. Of course. What's up, Salama? Good morning to you. Karen, good morning. A hat today. Are you shaking things up? You bet. Maybe we'll even do it this way. Maybe we'll even do it that way one of these days, right? Yeah, Scott with a hat. I love hats, by the way. I used to wear a hat every single day in my construction days. I actually love hats. I used to have a little bit of a obsession with them. And this is actually a friend of mine purchased this for me. And it was from a brewery. I believe it was in Asheville. Love that hat, by the way. But yeah, yes, I am shaking it up. You're right. You weren't expecting that, were you? Let's see here. Good morning, Scott. And a hat? Yes, a hat. You noticed. James, what's up, man? How are you doing? Ashley, good morning, Scott and morning crew. I've been listening to the mornings that I had to miss while I was gone, and they were awesome. Thank you for all the great content and all the time. Yeah, no problem. Yesterday's was really good on the niche drill down. A lot of you had some great questions, and I can tell that that's going to be a topic we're going to want to cover. We did talk about, there was a boxing one that I forget who it was now, wanted me to drill into. So we're going to probably make a few of those, some coffee talks. We'll dig in. I'll open up the computer, we'll share the screen, and we'll get to work, and we'll do that. I should also mention Brand Creators Academy, and I know some of the members will probably be either watching the replay or they're on here now, but we are going to be opening for enrollment on July 6th. So I just wanted to kind of throw it out there and just remind you guys that that is the date that we're going to be opening. I just wanted to remind you of that just in case you've been wanting to join, but you haven't had the opportunity to. Salma, I have not heard Jasmine's episode. Definitely listen to that episode. Debbie, morning, Scott. Safe travels. Thank you. I appreciate that. Deborah, good morning to you as well. Tamara, good morning, Coffee Crew. Yes, I listened to 843. It was full of energy and a worthwhile listen. Thank you. yeah, I love it too. It's a great episode, great person. Like Jasmine, I've been following Jasmine, well, my wife has, since our photography days, and we talk about that on the podcast. But it's kind of weird how it came full circle. Like never imagined I'd have a podcast, and never imagined that I'd have her as a guest on the podcast. That's how it works when you take action, right? Good morning, Scott. Nice t-shirt. Thank you. Rhythm and blues, baby. Rhythm and blues. All right, cool. Let's get to it. All right. So first off, I did want to just share with you guys about this whole pivot thing, because it becomes a little annoying at times, to be quite honest with you. Because it seems like for me anyway, it seems like every 5 years I get like this little itch to pivot for some reason. I don't know why. If you look back, it's like everything that has happened, it just kind of led to the next thing. That's why I'm also a big fan of something that I created called the Take Action Effect. This book shares all of those pivots, but it also proves that as you're growing, you're now being exposed to new things. You're being introduced to things with a new set of eyes or a new lens to look through. You have a whole new skill set, right? So as you grow, pivots will be natural. And the reason why I'm highlighting this is because, yes, the episode I did with Jasmine talks all about her pivots along the way. And I really wanted to get to the root of it. Like, what's that feel like? Is it scary to you? Do you feel uncertain? And even though she said, yes, sometimes I do, she did always say that she always validates it first, right? She always validates before she makes that hard pivot. Now, she has to test things in order to see if the pivot is even there, right? And I'll give you an example here in a minute, but that's exactly what we're doing. We're always testing, in a sense. So whatever you're doing right now, you may be starting a brand, and that brand will not be the brand you have in 2 years from now or 3 years from now. It'll be the thing that got you to the next thing, right? So just keep that in mind. So let me just give you an example here, all right? And again, if you're just tuning in, make sure that you listen to episode 843. And also let me know, guys, are you guys digging the new format? Are you liking Mondays is usually a strategy or a tactic or a case study or an update, something tactical. Wednesday is always a featured guest. Next week, we have Dean Graciosi coming on, which is an awesome interview. And then on Friday is always our jam session. So let me know, guys, in the comments. Let me know, are you guys digging it? What is your favorite part of the week for the podcast? And just let me know. I'd be curious to know. All right, cool. So let me see here. I do need to take a sip of coffee. I didn't see if Justin was on. If you're not on, you didn't remind, or if you are on, you didn't remind me. If you are not on and you're watching the replay, that's why I need you here, brother. I need you to remind me to take that sip of coffee, because it gets cold quick if I don't drink it. So, okay, let's see here. So number one thing we need to do before we ever think of pivoting is we need to start. Right now, if you're in a career right now and you want to pivot out of the career, well, then we have to start something, right? So whatever you're doing right now, and if you want something different, there's got to be a pivot there. There's got to be a change, okay? And sometimes the pivot is just going to be a little bit different than what you're doing, just in a different way or a different platform or whatever, right? So number one, we got to start. We got to take action, guys. We have to get something started, right? And I'll share with you, there's actually like 4 pivots here that I'll share with you that demonstrate this very, very clearly. Okay. So number one is starting. We got to start something. If you're working right now and you want to get out of that, you need to start something so you have something to pivot to, right? So we have to get started. Number 2 is we want to evaluate after 12 months or longer. So once you start, you got to keep consistent. You got to keep doing it. If you don't keep, putting out your content or building your brand, how can you really say that you gave it everything that you have? You got to commit to it, right? You have to commit to it. I've been here now. This is what, 86 coffee talks, consistently doing it, right? I don't know if this is going to work, right? Like, I just know that I'm hanging out with a bunch of cool people and I'm helping people. Is this going to bring more people into Brand Creators Academy? Probably. Is this going to, maybe it'll sell some of these Take Action Effect books. Maybe it will sell the Brand Creators book. Did I just drop something? No, I didn't. I thought I dropped something. You know, the Brand Creators Playbook. Is it going to have people want to grab this? Probably, right? But I don't know the numbers yet. I haven't looked at the ROI, and I don't really know if I need to. I just need to know, are people showing up, whether it's live or not? And by the way, like, yes, I would love for 100 people to be here right now live, right? But there's not. Does that mean that I should stop? Let me ask you, do you guys think I should put a thing and say, if there's not at least a minimum of 25 people on live, that I should not do this because it's not worthwhile? Should I think like that? Let me know in the comments. If I put that thing there, I say, listen, guys, if you guys don't bring 25 people here, I'm just not going to show up. It's not worth my time, right? If I said that, number one, I wouldn't be doing a good service for you. And it would be like, I don't care about you, right? Now, I'm not saying I can do this forever, but I do know this, okay? I do know that I don't care if there's, like I said, 10 people, 100 people, 1,000 people. Where the magic really happens is the long tail, just like anything. It's an asset that I've created that resides on Facebook or resides on YouTube, and who knows where that's going to go. There's a lot of people that watch the replay, right? So those people we got to think about, right? The other thing is while I'm doing this, I also got a custom audience being built in the background. However much you watch of this video will determine if you are part of my market, my audience, right? So I know that that's happening. That's fine. So I'm building that in the background. Can I measure that? Not really. But I just know that all of those things are building on each other. So again, I just went on a little bit of a tangent there on that, but that's why I don't look at that. But so many people go, oh, I created a blog post and there's only 4 visitors to it. Maybe I should stop. This doesn't work. No, you got to keep going, right? I produced 50 podcast episodes before I ever made a dime, right? And it wasn't even that much. I had Greg Mercer on from Jungle Scout. I had an affiliate sale. Okay. Woohoo. I made it, right? It wasn't enough to pay the bills, but kept going, right? You got to keep at it. So number one, you got to start whatever it is that you're going to pivot towards. You got to start it. Number two, you got to evaluate after 12 months or longer, after you've consistently shown up. Okay. And then number three, you need to validate the next move. Okay. You need to look and see where you want to go. What does that look like? And what can you measure that towards, right? So you need to validate the next move. So here's an example, okay? And I'll give you going way back in the day, I'll give you that example too. But think about this for a second, right? A lot of you, maybe all of you, I don't know, have been listening to the podcast almost from day one. So over 5 years, right? And when this started, it was basically all about Amazon because that's what I was doing at the time. I was just, not that that's all I was talking about, right? I still had my other businesses, my other digital products businesses, right? I still had that stuff going on. So it's not like that's all I was doing. That's all I was talking about on the podcast. That's why I started the podcast. But then over time, I started to see the market shift. I started to see a lot more people coming in and gurus coming in. And I'm like, I don't want to be really associated with that type of market or those people because they're just selling to get rich quick. I don't want to be a part of that. I want to build a brand. So that's what I've been doing. So then I started switching my messaging and testing it, right? And how do you test it? Basically, you just put out content and see if people are consuming it, right? I'll give you an example on how I just tested something 2 days ago, okay? You guys know I've been talking a lot about turning blog posts or turning content into a small digital product that you can sell, right? So in my head, I'm like, I don't know if anybody really wants that. I want it. I don't know if anybody else wants it. So maybe what I should do is test it. So what did I do? I did a coffee talk where all we talked about was digital products and creation, and you guys loved it. And the feedback I got was awesome. And then I go, you know what? I'm going to send an email. I'm going to send an email out to my list, and I'm going to write in the subject line, interested in digital products, ? Right? So what am I doing? I'm testing the market. Not that I'm pivoting my whole business that way, but I'm just validating something before I pour my energy into it, right? And by the way, the open rate on that email was through the roof. The click-through rate on that was through the roof, right? So all I did was I brought attention to that, and I got people's, votes by them opening the email. If they weren't interested, they'd read it and go, I don't care about that, right? So we need to validate before we do anything, Okay. And that's why I'm big on, if you're starting out from scratch, if you're watching this for the first time and you just stumbled on this, you're scrolling through and you see me and you're like, who is this guy wearing this hat? Because this is the first time I wore a hat on the Coffee Talk and you guys noticed it. Who is this guy, right? I'm going to help you validate your market. Just go to brand growth validation checklist. Get that. Go to brandcreators.com. And here's where I'll pop up the link, right? If you go to brandcreators.com, you can go get the cheat sheet. It's a little checklist and you can validate your market, right? So what I'm doing there is I'm giving that person value, okay, of something that I know will help them, okay? So anyway, back to what I was saying, all right? So what we want to do is we want to validate. So if you are thinking about starting a brand, you should validate it, right? Before you ever pivot. That market that you're thinking about going into, you should validate it, right? And if you validate it, there's a better chance that you know that you can go in that direction. Then you need to start. Then you need to commit to at least 12 months. And then you need to reevaluate. And then you need to see if it's pointing you in the right direction, if you need to do another slight pivot. Or maybe it's a market shift. Maybe instead of targeting men over 30, it's men over 40. Slight pivot, right? That's all. That's all we're talking about. All right. So let me give you an example. Okay. So when I was fresh out of high school, and I actually had 2 jobs before I worked for my father. Imagine that. I was 18 years old and I worked for a printing company. Quad Graphics was the name of it. I worked there for 9 months. Found out I did not want to be in a factory. From there, I went and worked for Cable Vision at the time, which is now Time Warner. And I worked for them for about 1.5 years. And then I started working for my father. And that construction job, I thought I was going to own the company, right? From there, though, I was like, I can see the writing on the wall. I'm not going to own this. It was a bad partnership with my father and his partner, and it just was not going to be there. So then my wife and I, we're like, what are we going to do? So we started a photography studio on the side, working full-time job, started something where I thought maybe it might work. And then we'll give it some time. We gave it 18 months. And in 18 months, we made the decision for me to leave my job. And then I left my job. We went all in. We did it in November. And I know that because it was fourth quarter where we had a lot of pictures or a lot of photography sessions booked. So I knew we were good for a good, 3 months, right? So that was my safety net. But then we tested it for 18 months to see if we could even get this thing off the ground. Then I pivoted. I hard pivoted on that one, right? Then from there, did that for probably 6-7 years straight before I started to dabble. And then I went and said, you know what? Maybe we should start selling our templates for Photoshop online, sell them on eBay. We did that. Okay. Then I started seeing people were asking, how do we do it? How did we start our business not going to photography school? So then I started to learn about digital products, created some digital products. Then all of a sudden that started taking off. Guess what? Because I started that and I tested it without getting rid of my photography studio. Then from there, boom, I seen we should go all in over here. That's what we did. We basically closed our photography studio. We had a few clients that we still did, kind of special clients that we did. But then after that, we just stopped them completely. And then we moved here. So we cut it right off, right? Now we were into the digital product world. Had a membership site in the photography space for over 7 years. Then we arrive here, right? Then all of a sudden I start dabbling in Amazon products because I was selling our physical products on eBay. That's where I got my start selling physical products. I moved over and said, oh, Amazon, what's this? What's this thing? Let me look into this. Private label. Boom, start a podcast. But I've also learned how to build an audience. I learned how to build an email list. I learned how to launch products. I learned all that stuff over here, and then I plugged it in over here. And then that's where the podcast, The Amazing Seller, originally was The Amazing Seller. Now it's Brand Creators because I'm not another slight pivot, right? Because then I'm like, I don't want to be doing this for the next 20 years. I want to be talking about building brands. Started testing it. Started putting out things. I had an event called Brand Accelerator Live. Can I sell a live event, about brand building? Yes, we did it. Over 250 people, right? So we validated it before we shifted everything. Now, here we are. Brand Creators is the main focus. Rock Your Brand podcast. And here we are, right? Those are pivots. But we always start something while we're still doing the other thing. Never give up that source of income at first. You got to start something and test it. And then you can pivot. All right, guys. We got to wrap this up because I do have to pack. But let me see if you guys have any quick questions. Let's see here. Okay. Oh, cool. Let's see. Okay. I'm scrolling. You guys got a lot to say here. Good. Okay. Okay. Salma says, I've been enjoying the Wednesday episodes. My favorite. Good. Grace, good morning to you. Good morning, Rebecca, Scott, and the coffee crew. Jennifer, what's up? Okay. My favorite is when you interview others, learning how they got started and the challenges they faced and how they overcame them. Yeah, that's my favorite part too, Kay. Love it. I believe commitment helps reduce. Yep. Faith, no, this is an asset you own as well. Yep. Salomon, no, serve the number one person in front of you affects ripple into others. Absolutely. Grace, I've heard that commitment is the secret, but not so secret to success. Yeah, well, yeah, commitment is 100% it. If you show up, you're going to start to get results. James, no, I don't think by serving, you're teaching us to serve others. I'm not sure I understand how that's reading. I think what you mean is no, I think by serving us, you're teaching us to serve others. Yes, I am. It's exactly right. Karen, I would be very sad if I couldn't come here every morning. Yeah, exactly. So if it's just you, Karen, if it's just you and I coming out for coffee, that's cool. People want to come, they can come, right? Honestly, that's how I look at it. Because I know there's a lot more people that are going to watch this on the replay, or maybe even 6 months from now, right? But I know that we're going to have a conversation. Kate, more followers in the long tail to serving others. Yep. Would you ever pivot sooner than a year? Not really, because I don't really think you've ever given it a really strong effort. How can you say that you've given it an effort if you're giving, like basically you're starting something and you're like, I don't want to do that. I'm going to start this. Start this. It's almost like you give yourself allowance to do that. You need to almost be like, you know what? I signed up to be in the military, so I'm just going to, I'm going to get out. No, you can't. You signed up for 4 years. You got to stay in for 4 years, right? Like we have to commit to what we signed up for. Right? So you need to sign up mentally in your head. Listen, I am committing to this for 1 solid year and nothing is going to take me off of that goal. If I was doing the photography business and I go, I think I'm going to try to do some eBay stuff too. Then I'm going to try to, maybe I'll start this other little side business over here. My focus was in 18 months. I didn't say 18 months. I said, we're going to do this for the next year and we're going to see what happens. And it just happened that 18 months later, we were able to make the pivot, right? So you got to make the decision to start and commit. And then from there, you got to just give it everything you got. Everything else, boom, go away. I don't want to hear about that. 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 I want to hear about that. Right? So that's really what I feel strongly about. And I think you guys can tell that. So make sure that you do that. All right, guys. Here's Mike. Mike, nope, don't stop because it becomes a piece of evergreen content on YouTube. That is true. That is true. Rebecca, would it be a shame if you stopped? We really appreciate you showing up. I enjoy hanging out with you guys as it gives me positive vibes to keep working on my business, and any beginning is tough and takes time. It's true. Do you recommend everyone to get a job first or start a business? If you need money right now, you need a job then. Because there's nothing out there that I know of that you're going to start something and you're going to immediately get money. Even if you have a physical products business on Amazon, right? Like, you know what kills me? I heard someone the other day on an ad. I got targeted and they're like, imagine finding your one product on Amazon and then you have the freedom of running your own business and life is just great and you can travel and you do this. That's BS. There's not one. I don't know anybody that's taken one product and launched it and in 30 days is making enough money to basically just live on. I don't know anybody. And I know a lot of people in this space. Anyone that's launching products, physical products, you're going to take that money you're making, you're going to roll it back into more inventory and roll it into another product. It's a cash intensive business if you're doing that. So no, I would not recommend just starting a business. The only thing I would say is if you want to like have your own business and do your side hustle, the only thing I would say that you could make money quick is basically sell stuff, flip stuff on eBay. Like take your house right now. I would challenge any of you, go through your house right now and take 2 hours and find stuff that you want to sell at a garage sale and then list it all in that same day on eBay. I guarantee that you'll make money, right? You'll sell some of that stuff. I used to do that challenge for all of our course attendees. I would have them do that first before we would start the course. And I had people that would make anywhere from $100 up to $3,000 in like a week, right? Now you could then make it, one of your things where you're like, I need to make $100 a day. How do I do that? I'm going to go find something that I can flip. And I'm going to just buy something for 10 and sell it for 50, right? Whatever it is. That's the only way that I know that you're going to be able to kind of put $1 in and maybe get 5 back if you can find the right stuff. It still takes work. It takes a lot of work. You got to package it. You got to ship it, you know, all of that stuff. So that's my take on that. I flip stuff on Facebook Marketplace. It's awesome. Yeah, that's another place, right? Like people forget about the marketplace. Like people sell couches and all kinds of stuff, right? So that is there always. It's like have a garage sale every day online. Like if you think about that, that's not to me a long-term thing because again, I got to maintain that. I got to find new products all the time, right? There's a lot, but people build a full-time business on that. It's just a lot of work. All right, cool. So let's do this. Last thing I want to say here before we do wrap up, because I do have to pack here. All right. What I want you guys to do is, what do you guys want to make the topic for tomorrow's jam session? Tomorrow is a Friday jam session here on the Coffee Talk. I'll just show up and just do some live Q&A, but I would love for you guys to give me a topic that maybe we can start with. Maybe a few questions that we can start with. So if you guys can do me a favor, what is a question or a topic that you want to discuss more tomorrow on our Friday jam session? If you would do that for me, that would be awesome. All right, guys. And then the last thing that I want to remind you guys is make sure that if you have not grabbed the brand creators, the brand growth validation checklist, make sure you do. Brandcreators.com. If you go there, you'll see the checklist. Click on the checklist, and then from there, download it and go through it. It will, I'm telling you, it will help you understand where you are in your market or where you can validate the market that you're thinking about going into. Also, you will then be part of our list of people that we know that are interested in building a brand. And when we open Brand Creators Academy, which will be on July 6th, we will let you know. And if you're interested, great. And if you're not, that's okay too. All right. So brandcreators.com is where you can do that. All right. So that's it, guys. That's what I got for you today. I got to run. And if you guys are watching this on the replay, thank you guys for watching on the replay. And I'm also doing it for you because I know that you're not maybe able to be here live, and that's okay. But I do want to show up here and hang out with the people that are live because it's just always awesome to be in person with people virtually because there's a lot more energy that we can pull from each other. So just want to say thank you guys. I appreciate each and every one of you. And I'll be back here tomorrow to do our Friday jam session. And make sure that you listen to that episode 843 with Jasmine Starr about pivoting. Pretty awesome. All right, guys, take care. Take action. I'll talk to you tomorrow. Bye.